I said, hey, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Mo Hodls, and we back for another video. Today is going to be a monthly update on BTC. You guys know we do this once a month, and, it's an interesting time in the market right now. We just got a monthly close. We're going to observe everything from Bitcoin dominance, take a look at the previous cycles, compare them, and talk about what we've seen today, right, and how it compares, right? So let's jump right in. So taking a look, right now, we are sitting at the previous all-time high, right? And again, this is definitely a weird cycle in a weird bear market because, guys, we have never seen a cycle where BTC double tops. Never happened before, okay? We have never seen a cycle where BTC falls at a previous all-time high, right? So nobody would ever predicted these things ever, and that is kind of how you got to trade BTC as well. Expect the unexpected. And so, guys, with that logic, let's jump into this market update for BTC. So, guys, we're going to jump more into depth here today. So, fasten up. We're going to talk real details here. So, I need you guys to stay sharp with me, okay? So, basically taking a look here at BTC, we are trading in between two zones, okay? And these key zones that I've marked are monthly demand or supply zones, right? So, this is a monthly zone. This is an order block. Price would likely fall here and stop here if it did, okay? And that is at $11,000 or $12,000 on this time frame. And then if you go to the 6-month time frame, that is pretty much what you get at, let's look at that, I'm OCD-ish, right? So I gotta make sure it's perfect. You get a price at 35,000, right? And even if you go to the 9-month, you can even argue a $42,000 BTC. But again, not going to go that far. I think this is fair as it is. And again, both sides have good arguments, right? Because one can just argue that, listen, price can flush up all these shorts up here and then take them back lower. That's very, very valid as well, right? And then you also have the argument where people who are too leveraged in this market can get flushed out. But guys, if you pay attention, there has already been a lot of people wiped out this market. We've already seen max capitulation, okay? And a lot of on-chain metrics, which pretty much display long-term trends. You cannot use them on a day-to-day basis. You're seeing a lot of bullish momentum. And what I like to use is something called LIB, look into Bitcoin. And I'm going to share just one chart with you guys just to make this video nice and simple. What you guys can notice is in every single bull and bear market, the active users grows at a low. What do I mean? So let's take a close look here, right? When you look at the 2018 cycle high, what happens? Price rises with active users, right? It's very clear. And then when price makes a low, price falls with the users. But when price moves up again and then falls again like a bigger sell-off that takes place a second time, do the active users fall? And in this instance, from the first sell-off, when we saw active users fall with the price, it falls. But the second time we reach that same zone, right, at 3,000 or close to 3,000, the active users grew. And you can clearly see that with the active users growing, as well as the price not making a new low, that would pretty much mark the bottom. Let's take the same logic and apply it to Bitcoin at 60K. So Bitcoin rises 60K in 2021, last year. And what happens? Active addresses rise with the price. Fair to assume that it's basically a bull market. But guess what happens? Price ends up falling. And then, obviously, the next time we make an all-time high, we don't have the same amount of active users. So that could have also been a signal to leave the market. But the whole point of me showing you this metric was when we make the new low, our market participants still involved. And what happens? Price falls, but there is more users than there were at 30,000. So basically what we can assume is that more people are involved in the market. They don't care about this volatility, and they're sticking around because they believe that Bitcoin is probably going to move back up again, and it's inevitable. And you can clearly see that in the active user count that people are bullish on this market, people are buying cheap Bitcoin, and the conviction is strong, and that's very, very clear. So this kind of tells me that from a longer term we are very close to the bottom, if not the bottom has been in already for the local low. And then when we look over here, you know, looking at volume, because I keep my analysis very, very simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things. When things are clear, like in Elliot wave standpoint, I will give you guys a count. But right now, it's not. I don't have a super clear count. But let's take a look at this volume, right? I feel like it's very underlooked. When we look at this volume, right, and let's just take it from the actual low over here, right? And I want to align it so that you guys can really see exactly what I'm talking about here. In this block and in this block, what happens? Price rises and volume rises as well. In volume analysis, that's an indication of bullishness, right? Price is rising and volume is rising. That's a bullish interpretation. And obviously now price is selling off. Now we're going to watch closely to see how the volume lines up. And for those who are saying or are questioning like the exchange, guys, I'm using Binance for volume. And if you go to CoinMarketCap, guys, the like most traded Bitcoin is on Binance. You can clearly see here that Binance has 2 pairs that have the most volume for trading. So of course I'm gonna have to use Binance when I'm gonna analyze volume, especially. So you know, again, the volume here is pretty strong, and you know, it kind of tells me that, you know, we're probably at a bottom. And if you look at the previous cycles, I'm gonna draw another box for you guys, right, from this low to like right here. Let's just do that, okay, and zoom in here. And if you guys are saying this volume looks a little bit compared to the volume over here, obviously, right, that's clearly gonna happen because you got to remember, when Bitcoin was trading at 3,000, there was less liquidity in this market. The whole entire market was small, right? We reached $3 trillion. We almost 3 times the 2017 cycle high, where the whole market reached like 1 trillion, right? So you cannot use the counter argument, which is this volume so little. At this time, this volume was a lot. So we're going to go ahead and use this volume to support our analysis. And clearly, which you can see here from the lows, what happens? Price is ranging, but it increases. You can clearly see a breakout there, and price is trending with it. And what does volume tell us, right? For basically, you know, price moving up and volume increasing with it, you can clearly see, again, that's a bullish interpretation. They're both moving in conjunction together, giving basically confidence to the market that we're probably gonna move up here. But again, everybody was scared here. Nobody wanted to buy there. And you know, it is what it is. And so when we look here, we can apply that same logic. Price moved up, but guess what? We didn't get a breakout like we've expected. And so what we're watching for is, okay, do we continue the momentum to the upside? Do we see this low get hit again? And that's really the big question, right? Because as long as this low doesn't get invalidated, I really don't see a reason to believe that, you know, we're gonna come back here again. And you know, what if like we just start trending up from this area, right? Or we just keep going sideways? There's definitely a counter argument to be had that maybe we do go lower, but I'm just feeling like a lot of the data is pointing to price either chopping more, or maybe a low is put in and we start trending upwards. It's going to be very interesting to watch. We also have more institutions sidelined to buy Bitcoin. We saw BlackRock, so that's fundamentally more interesting because it allows institutions to buy. But again, we're gonna watch closely. We're gonna monitor all these moves. But if I had to choose 2 zones, if I was holding Bitcoin, I would probably distribute a little bit here, and if I was waiting to buy, I would ape at 12,000 and lower, right? Because that is a very strong zone. And guys, even me, I could be 100% wrong, right? None of this stuff is 100% concrete. I could be completely wrong, and you know, that's what the game is, right? Sometimes you're wrong, but you have to put yourself on the right side. If we get a break below 17,000, then okay, you can watch for lower prices. Set yourself up to make, you know, like set yourself up to make profits, right? But if we go higher here, if you're holding Bitcoin, maybe it's a good time to, you know, de-risk. There's definitely strategies that could help you win on both sides, right? You don't have to know every single move and play every single move like 100% perfectly. That's not even possible. Anybody who says that they play the market perfectly is full of shit, and you can just tell that they haven't traded, because most traders would not even talk like that, because you know, the market humbles you quickly and you're not always going to be right. But what makes traders successful over time is risk management, and that is the name of the game, guys. If you're able to cut your losses, or you know, de-risk, and you know when to buy into strength and stuff like that, that's what keeps you in the game, right? And so it's all about risk management at the end of the day. If you cannot protect your capital, you cannot grow it. And so we're just watching. Again, we're just watching and being very patient, taking a look at old cycles and old times when volume acted a certain way, applying it to today. And we're getting significant volume, not even just a little bit. This is the highest volume that we've seen on this whole entire chart. And you know, it just makes such a strong case for the bottom to be in here. I feel like a bigger relief is needed, and this makes sense to me that it could play out as a beautiful wave 1, right, and then a 2, and then we'll probably see how that 2 plays out. It could be a complex wave 2. It can even go longer sideways here. Of course, I'm not knowing exactly how it's going to play out, but I do believe that a wave 1 and a 2 could play out right now in front of us. And the other funny part here is that we are at the 61.8 region. So who knows, right? This could be in, like textbook, and we could have all missed it. And so again, it's going to be real interesting to watch. I'm very, very excited to see how it's going to play out. And also, this is the BLX, and of course, it does not share the volume perfectly because of whatever reasons. I don't know why, but clearly there's more volume here to push the price up. All right, this is BS that this volume is more. I don't know how this volume is calculated, but it's clearly wrong, right? And so when we look here and we observe the RSI specifically, we're also at a zone where the price, kind of bottoms out here, right? Every single time we've hit this low at this price, or I'm sorry, at this 40 level, what happens? Price either goes sideways and rebounds, or it acts as a support, right? Because what happened here is that we went sideways, went up, price acted, the RSI fell with the price, of course, but the RSI acted as support to push price back up. And even here in the 2015 cycle, price went sideways. We kind of came off of like a 34 RSI, which is also, another time that we've hit that low. And, the RSI kind of trended up here, and then it acted as support off that trend line to only push price higher, breaking out, pushing BTC to basically 20,000 from $200, which is absolutely nuts. And so again, we're watching it here. We're watching the RSI play out in live, in real time. And so, I just feel like there's a lot of reasons to be bullish right now. I feel like the downside is going to be lessened right now, at least for a short period of time. And unless something breaks out, I'm not going to be willing to change my bias. I'm pretty bull at the moment, but no positions on BTC yet. I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. I mean, dollar cost averaging is obviously the best strategy, but no like real movement on BTC from my end, except DCAing, right? And right now, even looking at Bitcoin dominance, the dominance is being lost severely, okay? We're seeing dominance fall at a rate that nobody really expected, because what happens usually is after these bull markets end, and this is what's really tricky, right? Nobody really understands this yet, but I think when it's all said and done, people will understand. But looking at this 2018, just look at this 2018 dominance falls, okay? And what happens? Oops, let me go 2018. Let's go to January 20, right here, boom. Pretty much dominance falls at its all-time low, and ever since BTC falls, guess what happens? Dominance gets reclaimed, and it goes back and reclaims. It shows the market who's the boss. All the money flows back into Bitcoin. But this is not your typical bear market, right? Because what happened here, instead of Bitcoin dominance going on a rampage, reclaiming itself, what happened here is that price ended up going sideways. Price ended up not reclaiming, and in fact broke down. So this kind of tells us one of two things, right? In my opinion, I think that this market cycle is going to be a type that no one is going to expect. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, expect the unexpected. And also, this is going to show that there's a lot more altcoins. There's a lot more, different protocols and projects being built in this space, which is just taking away from Bitcoin's dominance. I mean, when we look at CoinMarketCap, we see 20,810 currencies that exist. So there's a reason why the Bitcoin dominance is not coming back to where it was, but I still believe that it should have at least took back and went on a rampage like it did here, and reclaim its dominance, but it didn't. So again, this is really interesting, and I don't know exactly what to make of it. But to me, it just feels like an altcoin season is going to play out, and I think that Bitcoin dominance will keep on falling from here because I think other projects will, start growing, right? I think that there's a lot of other things that, have a real potential and have real world use cases, but not to go too much on a tangent. That's why I believe the Bitcoin dominance is falling. I don't know if it reclaims it. I mean, looking at this chart, even the RSI doesn't look very strong. This is just like dumping, right? And this is like a range as well. If you want to draw it for my range traders, you can even draw this area as a range, and it basically just fails completely. So, let's draw this, add a range, and kind of go sideways here and consolidate before going down to continue this impulse, right? Because what happens here is an impulse down, a correction, and then an impulse. I mean, even if you were to invert this looks like it's going to go up. This looks like it's going to pump, right? Because, again, when you see this kind of a move, consolidation, it just kind of hints that price is going to keep, pushing in the trend, right? And so that's kind of an interesting observation because, again, we've never seen BTC do this at this phase of the market. Usually it reclaims dominance. And honestly, no one knows exactly how it's going to play out, but it will get clearer. And if you guys are subbed to this channel, when the price is bottom, things are clear, we even range for a bit, I will be very, very confident telling you guys that this is probably the bottom. But right now, the cases are getting stronger for the bottom. So that's why I've been, fairly vocal about it. But I am willing to sway my bias if new information is presented. But at the moment, you guys know where I stand. Thank you guys for watching this far. Please like and sub if you haven't already. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.